NPR reported that a United States submarine collided with an object in the South China Sea. This is undoubtedly a consequence of United States aggression against the People's Republic of China. Press TV reported that Glenn Greenwald stated that the United States Democratic Party want a stranglehold on the flow of information, and unfortunately with how they have reacted to the Facebook censorship story should tell you everything that you need to know about their authoritarian instincts. BBC reported that Xi Jinping said that Taiwan will reunify with the rest of China. The Dumbarton Reporter reported that the British government stated that it will introduce Irish language legislation at Westminster. Quite frankly, the British government should be legislating for no aspect of Irish life. The BBC and France 24 reported that 14 suspects are on trial for the murder of Thomas Sankara, who was the leader of Burkina Faso 34 years ago. Truthout reported that a CBS poll found that 88% of people in the United States want lower drug prices. 84% of people in the United States want to expand Medicare, and 73% of people in the United States support paid leave. That is according to the CBS poll that Truthout was reporting on. Hudhud Yemen news agency reported that Yemeni forces killed 1,300 Saudi troops in Operation Dawn of Victory. Let's hope that Yemen is close to victory, because they had every right to resist that genocide by Saudi Arabia, who backed groups like ISIS, Al-Qaeda and Ansar al-Sharia against Yemen. So context is important. The Cradle reported that the Party of God wants to expel United States influence from Lebanon, and they are right to want to expel that influence when you look at a political movement like March the 14th. Open Democracy reported that due to per incurium, secrecy still governs the British state. That is a terrifying story that reveals how totalitarian Britain is. Creating lacunae is the aim, not eliminating them. This enables corporations to delay, deny and deflect on issues of transparency. So they're deliberately writing the legislation which governs this in a substandard way, so that all the grey areas and all the loopholes can be exploited to the maximum. Live Action reported that Republican legislator Brian Hughes wants more legislation like the Texas Heartbeat Act, which he was the author of. Live Action reported that millions of pro-life protesters were mobilized in Argentina, Chile, the Dominican Republic, Ecuador, Guatemala, and Mexico. Al reported that Algeria arrested 13 terror suspects. That is good news. The Hill reported that over 100,000 union workers went on strike in America. The Guardian reported that Dominic Cummings said Britain never intended to implement the protocol. RTE reported, as well as the Middle East Monitor, on a story in which an award-winning author, Sally Rooney, refused to allow an Israeli publisher to translate her work into Hebrew in solidarity with Palestine. Big Think reported that Chinese students beat American students in all academic categories, and if that isn't a wake-up call to invest in public education, I don't know what else will be. The Daily Express reported that the University of Edinburgh found that pound for pound, Velociraptor is the strongest predator of the Mesozoic era. Common Dreams reported that Groundwork Collaborative did a study that found that corporate greed increased the consumer price index by 0.4%. Food prices inflated by 4.6%, and meat, fish and poultry prices increased by 10.5%. Kroger grocery chain increased its prices as its workers' wages fell by 8%. The Kroger CEO gets 909 times the workers' income. Kroger spent $1.498 billion on stock buybacks for its shareholders. That's almost $1.5 billion. The avarice is astounding. Al Jazeera reported that the Korean won surged 25% against the US dollar. Yeah, but socialism in the Democratic People's Republic of Korea doesn't work, right? CNN reported that Colin Powell died of COVID. Now, let's remind ourselves that Consortium News reported that Powell whitewashed the My Lai massacre of 504 Vietnamese civilians. Powell also helped to prosecute Desert Storm, which killed 200,000 civilians. That's not even the worst of it yet. Colin Powell knowingly lied about the Niger forgeries, and this led to 2,400,000 being killed in the Iraq War. That's unforgivable. Speaking of war criminals dying of COVID, the Irish Times reported that Dennis Hutchings has died of COVID. Hutchings had been on trial for the Ballymuephy massacre, which killed 11 unarmed civilians. The Village magazine reported on Frank Kitson's low-intensity operations, subversion, insurgency and peacekeeping, and its piss-poor excuse and rationale for the Ballymuephy massacre. The Irish nationalist community was the water that IRA fish swam in, and the water needed to be polluted, i.e. the state murder of Irish nationalist civilians.